All right. So, welcome everyone to a discussion about luxury homes, the luxury real estate market, and how we can market ourselves to try to tap into that market if that's something we want to incorporate into our business model. A lot of what inspired me to put on a class like this was the book, The Agent's Edge by Jordan Cohen, who's the top REMAX agent in the world. In that book, he kind of talks about his career path, and the luxury market is how he ended up becoming, the top agent, because he'll sell $80 million homes. And his whole business model, though, is an approach that runs very counter to a lot of the classes that I teach, because I view real estate as kind of two different paths you can go down. You can go down the professional path, or you can go down the personal path in terms of your branding and your business and what it is that you're trying to build. Um, and a lot of what I try to focus on is in the personal realm, because real estate is a relationship business, and just having that be your strategy for success is something that I know, because I've witnessed it firsthand. It's something that then comes a little bit more natural to me when teaching. But his book is very much on the professional path, and when hearing the content from it got me to realize, yeah, like if I were to choose to try to be the most professional real estate agent possible, um, is what he does is lays out a way to achieve that. And so yeah, so for luxury in general, I mean, he even says in the book, it's kind of something that if you're going to approach it, you need to truly dive all in and make a run at it. It's something that requires investment in both time and money, but it's where a huge payoff could occur. It's a high risk, high reward um, market and business model for real estate. And so I am, let's go with screen sharing first. I'm on Zoom. It's running a little bit slow for me today on this computer. I feel like my clicks, okay. Does everybody see the Remax dashboard right now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so within Max Tech itself, we do have some apps that, so yeah, in the mind of a agent who is considering, do I want to become a luxury agent? What resources are available to me within Remax that can assist me in this business journey? So there are two different apps down here. You have the Remax Collection and the Luxury Launchpad. That's two places that you could explore. Additionally, you have Remax University, which, whether you're doing luxury or anything, I am a huge advocate for Remax University. Um, so for those that don't know, Remax Collection, what that is it is our luxury brand within Remax. And so this is the remaxlux.com/luxury Remax Collection website. And all of our listings do qualify for the title of part of the Remax collection if they are more than twice the value of the average in the zip code, is I believe how it's calculated. Um, and so like if you were to do a search on this website just to see the luxury homes, so I'm going to do South Lyon, and then I'm going to do condos. And so then this is all luxury condos in the 48178 zip code. And I did that because I happen to have a listing that qualifies for RE/MAX Collection Luxury. And so you can see here though, I mean, it does also pull up other brokerages and their stuff, but yeah, so it's my only luxury listing. I am not a luxury real estate agent. I happen to get this through my personal sphere rather than doing an actual strategy to acquire luxury listings. And so what's important though to keep in mind that the luxury market expects a higher quality of listing presentation in addition to a higher quality of professionalism for the agent. And so being able to have something like, you know, the RE/MAX collection, that is just one way in which we as RE/MAX agents can utilize our brand to assist in demonstrating to our potential clients that, hey, you know, yes, we are RE/MAX, and within RE/MAX, there is a whole luxury subset. And so by having something that is part of the RE/MAX collection, you have then additional tools that can be utilized to help. So here, this is the Launchpad. Hold on, let me actually show you how I got here. So from the dashboard, you have the luxury Launchpad. Click this button, put in your email. And then, yeah, you have the whole little, I know, it tries to be impressive, because I mean, it's luxury. It's a different thing altogether. So then scroll down, introducing your luxury Launchpad, a curated selection of powerful luxury real estate tools all in one place for effortless access. So create a customized marketing plan that's perfect for your listing. And so, you know, you then go to the Launchpad, find curated resources. Let's go to the Launchpad. That's where I was earlier. All right. So now it can help us win luxury listings or sell luxury listings. I'm not going to go into all of these things right now. I just wanted to point out that this exists within our RE/MAX universe. Because we are RE/MAX agents, we have these types of tools. Now, what I highly recommend, if this is something that you are interested in pursuing, going to RE/MAX University and doing a search for luxury will give you all sorts of classes, including classes on things like, okay, this webinar series, the Luxury Launchpad. And so if you wanted to access this for free, you have, you know, a 46-minute video on the Luxury Launchpad and the resources provided. And so that's something that I would highly recommend. I have not actually watched that myself,
Can you
but
scroll up?
scroll up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, I just want to get a picture of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, this is also being recorded. You can, you know, you don't have to take your notes.
Watching them.
Okay. And so yeah, so within RE/MAX University itself, you have classes and these resources that can assist you. But I mean, a lot of this is, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit into the nitty-gritty of actually doing it. Conceptually, what is it that I want you to recognize if you're going to go the luxury route? And actually, I'm going to stop sharing, and instead, I'm going to do a little plug here for the audiobook of The Agent's Edge. I'm going to play a segment from the book that hopefully will be picked up by the microphone, just to show you that, okay, if you listen to Jordan Cohen's book, you know, and you hear the entire thing, it can provide you with a lot of valuable insight into what he did, and then hopefully it prompts you into thinking of different strategies and approaches you can take if you wanted to try to replicate it. But yes, I'm gonna hit play and we're gonna listen to like a 5-minute little segment from the book.
How can I stand out in a new market? When I made the move to the luxury market, I went in with the goal of becoming a listing agent. As we all know, listings guarantee we make money, and the more expensive the listing, the more we make. In this new town, however, I was a complete unknown. No one selling their home had a reason to call me. Now I had to figure out how to change that. Lake Sherwood and North Ranch and the other neighborhoods in Westlake Village did not strike me as the kinds of places where people responded well to door-to-door solicitations, which was fine with me because I never liked going door-to-door. I know this goes against every real estate training seminar and every how to increase business YouTube video, but I personally hate it. Disturbing people during lunch or dinner to hand out trick-or-treat bags or a notepad was not my thing. Plus, I never looked at door-to-door solicitation as professional. When the day comes that doctors and lawyers start going door-to-door to drum up business, that's when I will do the same. Nor did I believe people who lived in multi-million-dollar homes would pay much attention to a bulk mailed postcard from some new guy proclaiming he was now available to sell their homes, especially when I was competing with experienced and well-established professionals. A luxury market called for a more upscale, out-of-the-box approach, and I had an idea. I sat down and wrote out a long letter of introduction that I planned to send out to all 1,000 homes in my chosen new farm, North Ranch. I spent countless hours working on it to get it just right. To make the first impression I hoped to make, this letter had to be both personal and informative, detailed, yet readable. This had to be a letter that recipients would read thoroughly from top to bottom. By the time they reached the end, I wanted eyes opened and eyebrows raised, and the reader thinking, this is incredible. I never thought about real estate agents like this before. My broker at the time warned me that my letter was too long. No one's going to read the whole thing, he said. And he was probably right if this had been a mass mailer. But I did not plan to send out a bulk mail letter. Instead, I went out and bought the best stationery I could find, including special linen envelopes. I then printed out 1,000 copies of the same letter, one at a time, each personally addressed to the homeowner. I then hand-signed each one. Rather than slap a sticker on the envelopes, I hired a 16-year-old kid with perfectly scripted handwriting skills to handwrite and address each and every envelope. I could have saved money with bulk mail stamps, but I bought first class instead. Every single letter then looked like a personal letter of introduction sent only to the addressee and no one else. I was sure everyone who received it would at least open it, if not read the whole thing. I also printed the words, recent comparables enclosed, along the bottom of every envelope. The sheet of comps was easy to read and easy to follow so that any layperson can understand them. I printed each comp sheet individually so they would not look copied. I probably spent at least a month writing and rewriting that letter until I had it exactly the way I wanted it. I wish I still had a copy of it today. Basically, the letter was like a mini listing presentation. I also made it clear that I had a long track record of success in a different market and that my goal was to be their new agent of choice. Just interview me and see that I bring a new and more aggressive approach to real estate, I wrote. Not long after the letter went out, I received my first invitation to come out and interview for a listing. Before I could begin my listing presentation, the homeowner said, "How did you know we were getting ready to put our home on the market?" My goal had been to make everyone who received this letter believe I had written it just for them, and this seller's response told me I had hit my mark. I won that listing along with 2 more interviews that came as a direct result of my introductory letter. I could not have been happier. For those of you who also believe successful geographical farming is a guaranteed way to make money in this business, try the personal letter. I really hope it works as well for you as it did for me.
So that's just an example from the book of his whole mindset with real estate was taking quality to a higher level. Whatever we do as agents, can we actually do it better than everybody else? So if you're going to market a home and take photos of it, can your photos truly stand out as literally better than every other agent's listing photos? And so he had developed a strategy to do that, having photos taken at dusk rather than in the middle of the day, and having certain things highlighted versus other things not shown. He developed an approach, and the entire premise was if they hire him rather than another agent, he is going to do a better quality job marketing the home in terms of how it's presented, and also then reaching a wider net of people, getting more exposure than any other agent could offer to get them that client. So if you want to compete in the luxury realm, I do believe that that is something you have to bring to the table. You have to figure out what is it that is going to give you the confidence to say that you can actually do a better job than any other agent they hire. Now, a lot of that is going to be an investment on your part in marketing their home. It's not just about putting it on the MLS and then, the MLS spreads it to all the sites. It's about actually having a budget where you're going to spend X amount of dollars getting the home listed or, presented in other various realms, from magazines or direct mailers or whatever path you choose to build a luxury business. It's like, I can give you ideas, but at the same time, the true luxury agents are the ones who come up with out of the box ideas that truly stand out and have more impact. And the reason there's an opportunity when it comes to exposure and being able to sell yourself on getting more exposure is because there is a subset of the population who simply enjoys looking at real estate. It's a whole cultural thing that I would say, let's say 10% of women from the ages 25 to 40, they just have the hobby of going online to look at nice houses. And so that right there, I'm just throwing those numbers out there, but it's like, if you can do what it takes to get your listings in front of them, then you are getting more exposure for that listing. And actual normal buyers, they're doing their search. They have a geographic save search set up, and anything that pops up in their geography, they're going to see. And every agent can, go on a listing appointment and tell the seller, hey, yeah, I'm going to get your home in front of those buyers, because by putting on an MLS, I've done my job. Those buyers, they're aware of what's hitting. The whole idea, though, is, can you reach buyers who are not looking in that geographic area? Can you do the marketing to get it in front of people who are only looking over here, or just looking in the broad sense, but not at any, MLS geography? They just like looking at real estate in general. And yeah, it may be 1 in 1,000 of those people are ever going to lead to any sort of potential buyer for your listing. But because, they're not serious buyers themselves, they're just into looking at nice homes. But if it's 1 in 1,000, and you can, by doing marketing techniques, get it in front of 10,000 additional eyeballs that wouldn't otherwise see it if you just put it on the MLS, that's 10 potential buyers for that listing. And from the client perspective, if that's what the listing agent is presenting to them as what they're going to do, to say, hey, you hire me, I'm going to get it in front of these 10,000 other eyeballs, in hopes then that that's 10 additional buyers who are going to see your house, that if you hire somebody else, those buyers aren't going to see it. And so, those 10 buyers could be the one then that give us a quality offer that you're trying to get for your house. You then have brought value and a reason for them to hire you. So developing your luxury marketing strategy of increased exposure, but it's twofold. It's quantity and then the quality. You have to be able to come with both. You have to have an explanation for why your quality of marketing is better than what others are going to do. So if you are the type to send out postcards to an entire neighborhood of a just listed property, well, can you actually elevate that? Can you take that to the extreme? And like what he was saying with his, the envelope being a linen envelope and a handwritten address on the outside. If that's how you presented your just listed, properties, so you list in Pine Creek, let's say, and you get a $2 million home, and then you mail to everybody else in Pine Creek a high quality letter envelope of that listing, on just quality paper and everything taken up, to be an extra investment. But for those who care about luxury, they're going to recognize that it isn't a chintzy little postcard or just the stock paper that's in our printers here. It's elevated. That is what exudes luxury, and it reinforces the concept that then, yeah, you are a luxury agent, and what you're providing to your clients is a luxury presentation. And so that's the big picture concept, is you have to figure out your own path for maximizing quality and maximizing exposure for your potential listing. And if you can do that, and if you build that model, then you have to get your presentation in front of potential clients. And that's what he did in what I played for you from the audiobook, is he did his little mini listing presentation in that letter. He explained why his quality is better and why his quantity is greater. And then that's why the letter then led to listing opportunities. But yeah, it makes sense, but it requires effort and money to achieve that. Now, we though have tools. So let's get back to some of those, because that was a little bit of a monologue I just ran into there. Going back to some of the tools. All right, at the NAR level, we have our learning.realtor. You do search for luxury there. And yeah, you have classes here that you can take, including this one, luxury home certification. So there's an actual certification within the real, NAR, that you can use if you wanted to leverage that as standing out as to why, they should hire you rather than their cousin who also sells real estate on the side. Well, if they have a multi-million-dollar house and they're trying to sell luxury, they need a luxury specialist. And you coming with your certifications, stating that you're a luxury specialist, that can be one additional tool to help convince them that you can bring the quality. And so, the 7 steps to breaking into the luxury home market, creating luxury marketing materials, all of these classes, whether it's through NAR or it's through RE/MAX University, any of these tools that we have, I have not done them because I know I am not going to be a luxury agent. That is not my business model. But I have tremendous respect for those who do choose to go this route. I'm a lower risk person. For those who are not risk averse though, this class today is about getting you to understand that if you want to pursue this, you make the investment of your time and then your resources. It is a path available to anybody who wants to make a go at it. What I would actually recommend for your very first, if this is something you want to actually consider, come up with a marketing strategy. Coming up with the actual services that you're going to provide to a client, that's step 1. Understanding what you can bring to give them a quality job as an agent. At that point, yes, you need a client that you can demonstrate that your quality is real. That's a difficult thing to get on the first go. So you have the opportunity to reach out to other agents who have luxury listings to say, hey, so-and-so, I know you often list in Pine Creek or over in Hidden Lake. And I was wondering if on any upcoming listing you have, would you allow me to co-list? And I will take on the entirety of the marketing expenses, and you do not have to pay me a commission. I will be doing this solely so that way then I can build a portfolio of listings that I have, of luxury listings that I have co-listed and marketed. So that way then, when I go on a listing appointment with somebody else, I have something I can point to say, hey, this was my listing. I got this sold. And look at these photos and look at how I marketed this property. Can't you, and compare these marketing materials with anything else that others you're interviewing for, as potential listing agents, see what marketing materials they bring. This is what I've achieved for past clients. Let me do this for you. So to get your very first, to build that portfolio, it's a catch-22 because you don't have clients of your own. So you may need to take a hit early on and partner up with somebody. And yeah, you're not going to be making money. I mean, ideally you should fight for reimbursement. If you're going to co-list and you're going to put the outlay of doing the investment to get the photos, to put the listing in the magazines, that the luxury market magazines and all the different things. If you can get the actual listing agent to agree, when the closing occurs, they reimburse you for those costs. So you've taken on risk, but you're not making any money. You're just simply, what you're getting out of it is the experience and building a portfolio. That's one thing to consider. All right, let me stop at this point to open it up for discussion, because I don't enjoy droning on for more than 30 minutes. So yeah, I mean, there are enough people on the Zoom. Let's, try to have some questions or any thoughts, any sort of discussion.
Hi, Jordan.
Hold on, I hear somebody trying to.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I actually work in a market where I represent the lakes down in Lenawee County. There is, we've just begun to see in the last couple of years houses that are going up bigger and better, and a lot of property in the 1 million plus market. I'm running into a lot of competition with another RE/MAX agent that is heavily embedded in this area. And I don't think that he is likely to actually share or help me to expose his listings. But I do have a pretty good relationship with him, as we have worked and sold property together, representing and selling. I think that it's difficult. I think that getting the listing is not as hard as attracting the buyers that fit that criteria.
Mhm.
And that's where I can't see the vision on how to get those buyers.
Okay. Well, and so like right now with my condo listing, it's one of the highest priced condos in the county. And yeah, I am personally struggling. Like, I have not gotten this thing sold. I've had it for over 2 months on the market. And we're getting showings and the feedback is all great. And now I did it as a listing showcase through Zillow, since Zillow was offering that to us, and that has generated some leads. So I have done some showings myself on the property of people who contacted me because they saw it online. But I will be honest, I am not actually doing luxury marketing so much for this property because I am not treating it any differently than my $400,000 price condos. So
Right.
it's if I were to try to fully adopt a luxury brand of real estate, it would be about building a social media presence, where people could reliably know if they go to my Instagram, they're going to see lovely photos of high-end properties. Um, and so just expanding your network that way. And, yes, we all get those junk emails from other agents saying, hey, check out my new listing. But I mean, those emails, again, if it's going out to 10,000 agents and 10 of them happen to open it up and have a client in mind, like, oh, you know what, this actually would be a good, you know, building that email database to be able to share your listing with those other agents or just your sphere. Like if you build a mailing database where it's your past clients, but then also any prospects, and if you just decide that yes, any listings you get, you're going to automatically email them or mail them a physical just listed flyer for your listing that may be in a couple cities away, but all they're seeing is they're getting the high quality marketing piece, and they know that, yeah, it's because they get your marketing material. And most of them probably don't know anybody who would be interested in actually buying that house. But if one or two of them did, that one or two are additional buyers that you're drumming up through your activity that another agent would not be doing. And so it takes time to build these databases or these systems to reach more people. And most agents don't do it because it's a ton of investment and it's a very, very small percentage of success. But when you run the numbers game, it makes sense at the luxury scale. You can be doing, a couple $1,000s a month in mailing expenses, because if that results in 2 additional sales throughout the year, you're more than making up for it because the commissions are so astronomical. So that's the trade-off is doing the activities that most agents won't do because it's a low expected, success. But if you're doing it and nobody else would, then you're providing that extra value to the client of, hey, you're doing those things that have a low chance of success, but you're taking on that risk. You're doing the expenses because you're the agent who's looking out for their best interest, and you're doing whatever it takes to maximize their chance of selling their house.
I think you're absolutely right. The fact that you do have to lay the groundwork, and given the fact that in my particular case, that the lake season is only a certain time of the year and we're starting to dwindle down,
Yeah.
it might be a good opportunity for me to really start working and getting it ready for the beginning of the year. And I think that's what you have to think about when you go into something like this, because it doesn't happen overnight.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, over the winter, you have the opportunity to, with any of this, it should be done with intention as to, having the long-term strategy designed, and then you implement the steps. You don't just wing it. You don't just, oh, let me try this, because I mean, especially when it requires outlays of time and money. I mean, that's how you can easily waste time and money if you don't have the big picture strategy in mind when you're
Right.
making these early on steps, and
See, and you didn't never have to think about that in the last 2 or 3 years because of what has been happening with real estate. It's been automatic. It's just a matter of, but now things are a little tougher out there. And
right.
houses are staying on the market a lot longer. And even listings that would have been gone within 2 or 3 days are staying on the market much longer in the luxury
Oh yeah.
market.
Yes, we are. I mean, it seems to me like we're returning to a pre, 2020 market of, hey, yeah, agents actually have to work to get their listing sold. It's not just about putting it on the MLS and, oh, now we're in a bidding war, and which one do we want to choose? It's we have to do our job. We have to know.
You're
how to-
absolutely right. That is exactly what is happening. We are going back. And
Yeah.
I've known it a couple different ways. I've actually always had a great deal of success. But some of my best years has been when the market has been tough because I was able to have the buyers.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, I'm kind of like at a, I'm not getting a lot, I'm not having a lot of luck. And the difference is that you've got a lot of people out there that are holding back because they really have a hard time even understanding that the interest rates are normal. That they think they're going to come down. They're
Right.
just waiting. They're afraid to make that commitment. And I think that that's right now is what you're seeing. But yeah, it's you got to work a little harder, no doubt.
Yeah. And I mean, because yes, like with my condo right now, getting a lot of agents were like, yeah, they think they're going to be writing an offer, but the buyers aren't feeling the sense of urgency. They aren't feeling that like, okay, I like this house, I want this house, I'm going to write on this house. A lot of them are like, I like this house, I want this house, but I'm not ready to decide yet if I actually am going to write. And it's just we're not able to force people to do anything. All we can do is get them as interested as possible through our marketing. And then, especially in the luxury market, yeah, it's important that you assist the sellers in having the home present itself well during the actual showings. Because I mean, yeah, people when they're spending that type of money, they are anticipating or expecting a higher quality as a result. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, it's a struggle because our job is about influence rather than control. We can't control anything. We can only try to influence outcomes. And so, improving our skill set to know what leads to the greatest odds of success. Well, we can't make any guarantees. We can promise improved odds of success. That's about, the best we can do.
Well, one thing I would just like to share very quickly is that I'm a firm believer in the strength of the brand. I think that is really what's going to get you your foot in the door because I've had it both ways.
Yeah.
And the brand is exactly what luxury people are looking for,
Yeah.
sellers.
Well, yeah. So, anything else from any other participants in the class?
Well, I want to know what was in the letter, but he did not elaborate.
Right. But that's where,
That was my big question.
yeah, he does not know what was in the letter, other than what was said, in that segment I played. But I do once again want to make a plug for that whole book. That whole book, I think, is worth the time investment of listening to it to understand that path of it's not about like, because yeah, I'm an agent where I think, hey, go out there, build relationships, get people to like you and trust you in whatever realms of real life. And then when the time comes that they need an agent, they already trust you, they like you, and so they hire you. That's my preferred path for real estate because it's what I'm familiar with. But this path instead of build a real estate business that can confidently say you will provide a better quality service than any other agent that they're considering. And then win those, get those listing appointments. And then when you do the listing appointment, you win every listing because you come with the goods. You come with the convincing presentation to say, hey, you're better off hiring me than anybody else.
Could I just say something? I absolutely agree with you about the book. I am old school. I bought the hard copy. It's excellent. I highly recommend it. That's all I wanted to say. Great book. Great
All right.
suggestion.
Thank you, Lucy. So anything else? So yeah, I mean, definitely if it's something you are considering, yeah, play around with the the different tools that we have, the different classes, you know, in Remax University, or NAR, look at the luxury launch pad in Remax, and just with the mindset of, okay, is this something that, can I envision how I'm going to build the long-term luxury business for my real estate career? And by utilizing these things, what, you know, I don't want to just take one thing and do that. I need to see the comprehensive entirety of what it is that I'm going to do. Because one component on its own is not going to be enough for success. You gotta go all in. So, all right. Well, thank you for coming to today's class. I hope you found it, you know, a worthwhile discussion. And yeah, I will see everybody later. Let me stop this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stop the recording.